Almost all of us, we know quite a few formulas in Excel, starting from our the best friend VLOOKUP all the way to using match index or other different kind of formulas. But today, the type of formulas we will learn is a pretty different formulas. Um, Possibly, many of you might have a little bit knowledge about this, or you are already using those formulas. But I'm going to bring you today few different kind of situations where probably the normal functionality of Excel you will see it doesn't help much, and you really need a little bit advanced knowledge of Microsoft Excel. Okay, now I'll just continue with this slide that I started yesterday, and that was that we have few modern challenges. And one of the challenges that we discussed yesterday, that was that how do you connect to various and scattered data sources? How do you clean information? And how you load information to the platform where you have to use it for analysis or reporting purposes. The second challenge that we're going to discuss today, that's basically is how do you arrange, examine, and analyze information? And the third challenge, in fact, that's what we will discuss sometime in future, probably in the month of March, that how do you use any tool available to communicate and to follow up on your information. And as I explained yesterday, that all these challenges, to meet rather to these challenges, you need some kind of tools. And one of the best tools that's available in Microsoft Excel that we discussed yesterday was Microsoft Power Query. And today we are going to discuss another very, very nice tool. As per my knowledge, or as per my experience of about 22 years, if during the last 20 years, something the best has happened in Microsoft Excel, that is Power Pivot. Now, what is Power Pivot? What it is used for? We are going to discuss these things quite in details in a few minutes. And the third challenge that you can meet is for that we have two different tools, again within Microsoft Excel, and that is Microsoft Power Map and Power View. All these tools are interconnected to each other. The output of one of the tools from here, it becomes the input for the other tool. And all these tools together, they are part of Microsoft Business Intelligence Suite. And for the business intelligence, Microsoft, the best product, which is right now leader in the market, that's called Microsoft Power BI. So in sometime in the future, we will see what this Power BI is, how accountant and analysts they can use it. In fact, millions and millions already they are using it. So I'll show you that this tool, it can help you for a lot of things, especially when you are in a situation when you have to just examine information very quickly. Instantly, you have to present your information. You have no time to prepare any kind of Microsoft PowerPoint slides. No need in Power BI. You just need to analyze your information. As you are analyzing, creating analysis, your dashboards, your presentations, it's getting ready automatically. So we'll see it sometime in future what it is. And today we are going to discuss what is Microsoft Power Pivot, what it is used for. Now, here in this small blurred image, you can see three important things. One of those things is the relationships. So when you want to work with Power Pivot and DAX, you have got no choice. You have to have knowledge of data relationships. What are these relationships? How did you create relationship between various types of data? So we're going to discuss this one in today's session. And also you can create hierarchies. Hierarchies, basically, it helps you to analyze information for various variables. For example, if you need to analyze information, let's say for the year, quarters, months, days, weeks, and all this stuff. So in Power Pivot and Microsoft Power BI, you can create a hierarchy, and based on that hierarchy, you can analyze all these variables in one shot. For example, I can create just one visual and can put on top of the visual rather rather into the visual, the top most information I will put it, that would be the yearly information. But within the yearly information, then with the help of one single click, I can move on to from the year to the, let's say, to the month, from the month to the days, from the days to the hours, from the hours, and so on and so forth. The more granular information you have, the more better results you will get with the help of hierarchies. This is not, in fact, my topic today. It's a pretty much lengthy, heavy topic, and I need at least 4 to 6 hours to explain these hierarchies. And then last thing that you can work with in Microsoft Power Pivot is called the KPIs. So all your key performance indicators, it's a matter of just defining them once in Power Pivot, and rest every time it's just a matter of refreshing your reports. So let's have a look into, first of all, what is this Power Pivot? Many people, they are always confused. That's what I have noticed. They're always confused between a pivot table and a Power Pivot. Well, these are two different things. With the pivot table, there are a number of things, rather, let me say this way, between pivot table and between the Power Pivot, there are a number of things which are common between them. Anything that you can do in normal pivot table, you can do that in the Power Pivot as well. But there are hundreds of things that you can only do in Power Pivot. You can't do this into the normal pivot table. For example, there is no concept of creating relationships in the normal pivot table. But Power Pivot doesn't work without creating relationships. You have to have the relationships. Pivot table, it works with the data that you have into a single or multiple sheets. But the capacity of one sheet is 1.04 million rows. When it comes to Power Pivot, there is no limit of data. You can bring unlimited data into your data model. Okay. Second, the way information you will see will be calculated, the way filters will work in Power Pivot, that speed, that functionality probably is not available within the pivot table itself. So I'm assuming right now that you already know what is a pivot table and how to use it. So I'm not going to discuss anything related to the pivot tables, but I'm going to focus is on to the Power Pivot. Okay, so what is Power Pivot, and what's its purpose? So Power Pivot basically is another add-on in Microsoft Excel, just like what we discussed yesterday, Power Query. And its purpose is the same thing, what you do with the help of pivot table, the similar things you do with the Power Pivot. But here you, in fact, create more sophisticated, complex type of data models, complex type of analysis. There are another thing is you deal here in Power Pivot pretty much large volumes of data compared to the pivot table, where it's always the maximum that you can deal with, or maximum you deal with is 1.04 million rows. I doubt any one of us right now over here, he has a worksheet which is full of data, where 1.04 million rows are 100% filled with the data, and you are using that data to create any kind of pivot table. Mostly 100,000, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000. And then when you cross 600,000, your file, it start getting freezy, it gets slower. So many issues start getting faced. One more very important point that I would like to mention here is normal Excel users, when working with the pivot table, and they need to join two data sets. For example, you have information in sheet 1 and you have information in sheet 2. So when you want to connect to both of the sheets, so most of the time you use VLOOKUP, SUMIF, you use probably match index, this kind of linking formulas you use. There's no harm in using these formulas, but there is one downside of these formulas, and that is duplication of information. The information you are bringing into sheet 1 from sheet 2, it's already there into sheet 2, while bringing with the help of a formula into sheet 1, there are two sets of information, similar information. So this duplicated data redundancy, this is another problem when you work with the normal pivot table. But if you work with the Power Pivot, since you will be working using the relationships, so 99.9% data redundancy can be reduced, data duplication can be reduced. And that's what I'm going to prove today. Another very important aspect about the power pivot is it's used to create insights. It's not to create just only the analysis or just the report. We'll look into that how power pivot can be used to create insight and instantly. Okay, so that will be my major focus: how you can create insights in a very complex situation where normal Excel or normal pivot table it doesn't help much. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, without wasting any further time into just keep talking about the theoretical part of this, let's have a look into the practical aspects of this power pivot. Let's see that how you can make use of power pivot to make your life easier. Okay, so once again today I will request Mr. Errol. Yeah, hi Errol. Thank you very much for joining me again today.
Okay.
Thank you. So the same thing, what you did yesterday, just keep looking in case what I'm saying is different than what I'm showing onto my screen. Just let me know, please. Thank you very much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to show you first of all data, and then we will build some data model, and we'll use Power Pivot. And into the Power Pivot, we will use data analysis expression. Probably by now you might be thinking of, hold on, I was talking about the main topic of this session is data analysis expression. So why I switch from main topic to Power Pivot? Okay. Now, data analysis expression is what? Data analysis expression is a formula language. But don't be scared. I'm not going to teach you any kind of scripting over here. I'm not going to teach you any kind of language over here, right? Data analysis expression, we just don't call them as the formulas. No, it's not. Basically, the difference between a normal formula, which you're using in Excel, and the data analysis expression is what? That within the data analysis expression, using its existing power, you can create your own formulas. But in Excel, what you do is you just call a formula, you provide the values or you enter its parameters, and that's it. So with the normal Excel formulas, there is no concept of creating your own formulas. In data analysis expression, you can do that. So one major difference, just keep in mind that DAX or data analysis expression is not a formula, rather it's a formula language. Okay, let's go ahead and look into the data first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the information into the data model, into the Power Pivot. And from there onward, I'm going to show you different scenarios. And let me know in case anybody has a better solution, what I'm going to show you, right? So I'm not saying that what I'm going to show you is the best thing, but very much possible that you have something better solution than what we are going to do over here right now. Okay, so let's have a look into the data first. So the data right now I have, so let me share my screen rather you can already see, I think. Yeah. So in today's session, I have this few scenarios here, about 20 scenarios. And the data I have is in a sheet, I have this sales information. I have the order date here, product key, customer key, a little bit more information. That's the data, let's say I'm getting from one of my, let's say one of my colleagues, right? And abnormally, this value just abnormally we entered over here, just to want to show you something later on in this session. Then the next information I have, let's say I got this one from another client and another person, the same company, and his job is to maintain only the customer information. So this basically is the customer profile. So where customer name is there, customer key is there, and a little bit more information as far as their yearly income, their education, and quite a bit of other information is there. So this information does not contain anything as far as the transactions with these customers is concerned. All kind of transactions we have over here, those are recorded here in the sales area here. We got a little bit of information about the products as well. So in the products information here, we got various elements of the product. We got its list price. We got its reorder point, stocks, safety stock level, um, English name of the product, and quite a bit of other information is there. So once again, pretty much not financial information available here, except the standard cost and the list price. Probably these are the two things into this. We got a little bit more information about the exchange rates. Now, all this information recorded here in the sales ledger or in the sales sheet here, it's in dollars. But this company has the business overseas as well. So they are interested into converting this sales revenue into euros at various, let's say, exchange rates. So what I got here in this table or in this sheet is only one information, USD per euro, and that's the conversion rate, nothing else. I got some minimum price list as well. But this is the information, let's say, let's say brand manager is there, or the product manager is there, who is using this information for some kind of insights or some kind of analysis. What kind of analysis or insights he's preparing, we'll see this in a few minutes. And finally, one sheet I have here is, this sheet, in fact, is, it contains information about calendar. Now, why I need this information? In what way this information is useful? I'll explain this one. Let's do one thing. First of all, let's load this information into the data model. Now, what is a data model? I'll let you know in a few minutes. And the most important thing will be that how we can make sure that we should not duplicate the information, which normally happens in Excel, as I explained earlier. So what I'm going to do is, another thing I'm going to do right now, being a professional, I just don't want this information should be visible or available in the file where I'm going to prepare analysis. Normally what we do is, if I have to prepare, let's say, a report, so in one sheet, normally you have your data either in the same sheet or somewhere into the next sheet. What you do is you prepare your analysis report. So anybody who's looking into the reports can also go back and see, okay, so if this is my report, so what was going on to this sheet or this sheet or this, unless and until you have logged these sheets or you have, sorry, you have hide these sheets. I'm going to adopt a different approach. Number one, all these data or data sheets, they need to be connected to each other. Sorry. Okay, so create relationship between these various data pieces. I need to load them to an environment where I have the facility of some kind of database management style. Okay. In the normal Excel, you'll not find anywhere any facility where you can create any kind of relationships. For example, first of all, why do I need relationships? If I need to know what was total sales made, let's say, to this specific customer, Larry Gill, right? I need to go to this file or this sheet, and I need to find out where is that Larry King, or sorry, not Larry King, Larry Gill, 11602. Where is this person? Where is this customer key into this this sheet over here or into this column over here? And then I need to pull that information and then summarize it. Okay. But when we'll summarize this information using the data available here, I won't be able to present you or to provide you his rest of the information. For example, when was his date birth, what was his email address, and a little bit more information as far as profiles are concerned. So to connect his profile from this sheet to this sheet, I need to create some kind of join. I need to connect both the pieces of the information from here. Okay, that's one thing. If you ask me, okay, give me the sales made for any specific product, let's say 477 is a product key. Okay, I can summarize information from here. But if you ask me, okay, this 477 is fine, but this 477 we are selling in 4 different colors. So can you tell me 477 product of white color or black color, what was total sales? I don't have any information as far as color is concerned in this sheet. It's all color, the rest of the information is available over here. So I need to connect this data to this one. So how we can make it possible? Okay. So the best thing for you is what? Now in my file over here, you will see there is a menu item here right at the top, Power Pivot. And this is what I'm going to use to load this data into the Power Pivot environment. And then using that data, I will create all the analysis which I have over here, this one. Okay, that's one thing. You might be thinking of, what if I don't have this Power Pivot? Nothing to worry about. Go to Developer tab. In the Developer tab, you'll find here COM add-ins, commercial add-ins. Click onto commercial add-ins, and you'll find here Microsoft Power Pivot. This is the Power Pivot add-on. All you need to do is just make sure this add-on is checkmarked. Okay. Right. So once this add-on is checkmarked, you'll find the Power Pivot is here. I'm using Office 365. I strongly recommend to use it. But in case you have Office 2016, 2019, that will be great as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new file. So this is a new sheet, rather a new file right now. And in this file now, I'm going to call the data of this file. But I need to close this file first so that I can import it. So I don't save this information. And in this file now, I'm going to pull the data. So to pull the data into Power Pivot, you have two options. You can go to the Power Pivot and click on to Manage, or you can go to the Data tab here, and into the Data tab, under the Data Tools, you'll find an option here, the Data Model, which is for the Power Pivot. So both way, it works the same. It works the same way. So I click over here to the Power Pivot Data Model. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to analyze. If you look at the bottom of my screen, it's analyzing, or rather, it's loading the data model now, right? So what it's going to do, it's going to show me a new screen, which I'm sure you can see right now. So this is the Power Pivot data model. Just like yesterday, what I showed you, that was the Power Query screen. So here, right at the top, this is the Power Pivot data model. Here is the Power Pivot. And it's a different screen than what you can see at the back now. This is your Excel, and this is your Power Pivot data model. And in this data model now, you can connect to almost any kind of source. All those sources I showed you yesterday. In addition to that, there are a few extra sources are also available here that you can get connected to. Anyway, I'm going to connect to the file which earlier I showed you, and I'm going to pull that information here. So I just go into the Get External Data and File from a source. When I click from other sources, so this dialog will come, and at the bottom of this dialog, you'll find an option called File Excel From. So click Excel File From and click Next. Now what it's going to ask me, it's asked me, okay, give me the path of the file that I want to get connected to. So I click on to Browse. Into the browse now, I just need to connect to the source. So my source is right over here into DAX. And this is that file that I'm going to get connected. And click Open. So here is the path of the file. And my file, all the sheets in that file, in fact, the first row is the header row. So I check mark that. If I just leave it, what will happen is the first row will also become the part of the data. That's what I don't want. Otherwise, I have to then manually type the headers. So I say that the first row, in fact, that is the headers. That's it. And go ahead and click Next. So what it's going to do, it's going to analyze the file, and all the sheets in that file would be available here. So I'm going to call from there calendar, customer, exchange rate, minimum price list, products, and requirements. Basically, those are my questions. So I don't need that. And I'm going to call from there the sales. So these are the sheets which I'm going to call from there and load it into the Power Pivot data model here. And I go ahead and click Finish. So it will go through now that file. It will prepare the import, and you will see less than a minute, the whole data will be imported here. So the last sheet now, so everything is done. And click Close. Now, when you click Close, all your data would be into your data model here. All right. And this data model now, it's part of the same file, but this one will remain secret. Secret in a sense, user cannot look into this data as far as your normal Excel is concerned, unless and until user is also he or she knows that how to reach to the data model. Okay. Now here, what I want to do is I just want to make a little bit, let's say, data cleaning over here. Not much. Just I want to change a couple of things here. So this is the date, which in fact is loaded as date and time. So I can simply just select this column and into the formatting, make sure you're in Home tab. Into the formatting, here is the date format. So I'm going to format it as, let's say, the short date. The same thing I'm going to do with, let's say, in the sales table as well. And here is the date, order date, and I'm going to change it to short date. And that's it. So my data is loaded over here. I can close this screen. And now this is the screen which you are looking on right now over here. And in this screen, you can see there is no data at all. Do we have any data in over here? Nothing. It's a single sheet, blank. So the first thing now is that my important data, it's away from the view of the end user. But if I want to go back to the data model, I once again into the data, go to the data tools and click over here to the Power Pivot window, or go to the Power Pivot window and click on to manage. This will take you the same place. So here is my data now. All right. Okay, that's fine. One more thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring my questions over here so that I can avoid of switching between the sheets and rather the file. So let me just copy the sheet of requirements from here into this book, just create a copy, and that's it. And rest of the thing, I'm going to close it now. Okay, so here are all the requirements now. And here I'm going to create my analysis reports and rest of the stuff. So I'll leave now questions on the screen one by one, and you can just help me to solve these questions. Question number, or rather requirement one, was that I need to load the data to the data model. That's I'm already done. Now, my second question over here is that what was total sales amount for each month? Monthly sales, total amount we need. Okay. So have a look now what's going to happen now. Right. So let me make a space over here. All right. Okay. So what I do is I go to the second sheet here. And let's say somewhere here, what I do is I go to insert. And into insert, I'm going to insert a pivot table. When I click insert pivot table, so make sure that you have selected use this workbook data model, because we don't have any data range. I don't have any data into this sheet. If you want to use the data from this sheet or any of the sheet, so you need to go to that specific sheet, select your data, and that data range will be here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the data, what I loaded into the Power Pivot data model. So make sure that you have selected use this workbook data model and click OK. As soon as you click OK now, so you'll see here now all those tables that you have loaded to the data model are available here. These are those tables. And if you just expand any of the tables, so you can see its respective fields. So these are the fields in the customers. I have products table, the fields in the products table, and I have the sales. Here are the fields of the sales. Okay. So my question was, what was total sales for each month? So what I do is now I just go to the sales, which normally we do. So first of all, I'm going to create a very traditional way, rather going to create a pivot table in a very traditional way. So normally what you will do is you will say, okay, I need to calculate total sales by month. So I can just drag my total sales, which is somewhere into over here. So it is my sales amount. I can drag and drop into the values. And then what I can do is I can just take the other field, which is the order date. I can drag and drop into the rows. So this way, what it will do is it will create for me. This is my, in fact, is a small report. But my requirement was not that you should give me data in terms of, or report create in terms of the years and months and all the stuff. No, what I was looking for is that you will create a report where I can see the month over here and its respective total sales over here. Now, what is going on over here now? This one. Now, my data is basically is from 2001 all the way to 2004. But if I expand between these data, I can see now the data has created a hierarchy over here, right? So in other words, now, if I need to see the data of 2001 August, so I have to click first 2001, then within that, I have to expand the quarter, and within the quarter, I have to look onto the information as far as the month is concerned. And from there, if I want to see the information in terms of days, I can expand it to the days. Okay, you have provided quite a bit of extra information to me. Okay, that's fine. But this is not the ultimate requirement that I had. So if I just still insist that, no, sorry, I still want to see 2001 total sales by month. So what will be the option available to you? The only option available to you is that you need to go back to the data, into the sales file or into the sales sheet, add a new column there. And then what you do is you apply some formula to extract month name from this order date, and then that new column you will add over here. Because if I just remove this grouping from here, I won't be able to see the year or the month or the quarter. Okay, so let me show you. If I just right click onto this, I said, no, don't group this information here, rather ungroup this information here. So what it's going to do, it's going to show me information in terms of the dates. And that's not, once again, giving me my required information. Okay, so to avoid this, what I can do is, let me go back now to the data model. So I go into the Power Pivot and I go to manage the data model. So here is the data model again. Now, all these sheets, what you can see here is the customers, the calendar, exchange rate, and all this stuff. This is its data view. There is another view available here, right at the top. Into the Home tab, right at the top, extreme right, right corner here, under the View block, if I click onto View Diagram or Diagram View, so you'll be able to see that all that files or those sheets are available here in this format. And any one of you probably who has some knowledge of the database management system, probably he can understand, oh, all right, understand now what's going on here. So this is basically is like a database management environment. So here what I can do is I can arrange my sheets over here. So I have a calendar sheet, I have a customer sheet. So let me put this one right down here. I have this one is exchange rate, and this one is minimum price list. And two more are here into the right-hand corner here. So I can bring them close to the others. So let me put this, let's say sales here, and let's say products over here. So these are those files or sheets that I loaded to the data model. One of the tables or one of the sheet that I loaded that contain information of calendar. Now is the time when I should explain to you why I brought this calendar information. Remember, whenever you have to work with business intelligence, data analytics, or you have to create any kind of insights, you need to have a sheet, a file loaded into the data model that contains calendar information. Now, calendar information means that in this sheet, or okay, let me rather go to the data view of this sheet. So this sheet, which is the calendar here, what you will see here is that this column, it contains every single unique and continuous date of year 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004. So one column should contain unique and continuous date. What means
are we seeing the right display?
Oh, sorry. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, now you got it.
Thank you. So now here, in this column now, what you can see is This contains unique and continuous date. Now, what do I mean by unique and continuous? Calendar contains every single date as a unique date. 1st January 2021 will never repeat itself. It has never repeated in the past. It will never repeat itself in the future. Even it will never repeat itself within the same year. So that is the meaning. It should not happen that you enter the date over here, 1st July 2002, the next 1st July 2002, and then next 1st July 2002. No, it should not. That will not be calendar. That will be just a date information or the database of the date. So one column over here, it should contain every single and continuous date. Continuous means it should not happen 1st July 2002 and then 5th July 2002 and then 20th July 2000. No, it should be continuous date. 1st July, 2nd July, 3rd July, 4th, and so on and so forth. And then from this date, using your normal Excel knowledge, you can extract from here the number of the week, the name of the date, the month name, the year, and the day number of the year, and so much more information you can extract from this one. And how you can extract this one, I can just go back now to the formulas over here, and into the formula you have a complete library of the formulas over here, which is a date and time formula. So here you can use any one of these formulas to calculate day, time, this and that, blah, blah, all that information. So what you say, what you just a while ago, let me bring my data model once again, Power Pivot and the data model. Right. Okay. So all this information, what you can see here, this was in fact calculated using the normal Excel formulas. Now, this calendar table will help you to create any kind of analysis which are time bounded. We call it as time intelligence analysis. You need to create some kind of analysis which is for the year, for the month, for the days, for the day names, for the month name. For any kind of time intelligence analysis, we will use this sheet or this table. So here now what I'm going to do is in my example here now, what okay, let me make sure that, yeah, I'm sharing that. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to call the month name from the calendar table. So what I can do is now I can just take this order date out and I can call month name from here all the way here. But there is one big problem. The big problem is that if you look into the information here, this is the same number repeating for every month. In fact, the grand total is also the same number. So what's going on here? What's wrong here? If you look into this right-hand corner, so you have been given an indication that there is no relationship between the information coming from the sales table and the information coming from the calendars table. We haven't created any relationship so far. We just drag and drop the fields over here. And now what I need to do, I need to create the relationship. Let me show you how the relationship can be created. So I go back to the data model now, okay? So into the data model, what I need to do is I need to go back to the diagram view, and I need to create a relationship between the calendar table and the sales table. So what I understand is that in the calendar table, this information is unique information. It doesn't repeat itself. But as far as order date is concerned, it does repeat itself. On the same date, you may have one or more than one order, but in the calendar date itself will not repeat. So what I do is I'm going to create now a relationship. Now, there is a concept over here, which is called primary key and the foreign key. So this primary key and foreign key, that's my topic for tomorrow. In the database, I will explain this stuff. But right now, what I'm trying to explain to you is you can create a relationship from a field where it's unique to a field where it's repeating itself. Date over here is unique, but date over here is repeating itself. So what I do is how to create a relationship. Just drag it from here all the way and drop on top of the field where you want to create the relationship. So I just drag and drop it on top of order date. So system, what is going to do? It's going to create a relationship. And this relationship, what does it show? If you look closely over here, you'll find here is number 1 and here is asterisk. This is called one-to-many relationships. What does it mean? It means every single date over here It has many relationship with the date over here. 1st January 2003 means single date here, but 1st January 2003 over here in the order date can be one or can be more than one. I can create similar kind of relationship between the customer, products, and the sales table as well. The customer key over here is a unique key, is a unique information. Your CI, your SIN number, it's a unique number. Your employee number is a unique number. Your bank account number is a unique number. Similarly, in the customer table here, a customer key is a unique ID. Two customers cannot have the same customer key. Two customers cannot have the same code. But here, for the same customer, I can have single order or I can have multiple orders. So what I do is I'm going to create a relationship between the customer key from here onto the customer key over here. So it's going to create a relationship between the customers table and the sales table. And same thing over here, one-to-many relationship. Same I can do with the products table. So the products table, product key over here, it has a relationship with the product key over here. A product key over here is a unique ID. But as far as the product over here is concerned, product key over here is concerned, that's going to repeat itself. So now we have created the relationships. So as soon as you create the relationship, now when I go back to my analysis which I was creating, you will see the things have already been fixed over there. So let's go back there now and check it out what's going on there. All right. So here is now the data. Now my report is perfectly all right. Okay. Now this was just a very basic thing which I wanted to discuss, and that is how to create relationships between various sets of data. The beauty of this arrangement is what my data is not duplicated. As I explained earlier, if you have to bring the month into the sales table, so what are you going to do? You're going to add another column into your sales table and going to apply the formula, and that in fact is going to add physical data into the file. But beauty of using the Power Pivot Power Pivot and DAX is what that it helps you to avoid data duplication. So far, in the actual data, I did not add even a single alphabet. I'm using the same information that I extracted. Okay. Now here I got a couple of problems. Months are not sorted properly. But if you look closely, they are really sorted. But the only difference is they are sorted based on alphabetical order. And I need these months to be sorted based on the calendar order. Now, some of the friends probably they will try to do what? They will just select this information from here and they will try to use some kind of probably saying, okay, why not to use this the sorting option over here, right? You continue using the sorting option A to Z or Z to A. Okay, this do help sometimes, right? But this basically is not the right approach, to be very honest. Okay, this in fact is not the right approach of sorting data into the Power Pivot. Instead, there is a better approach, and let me show you what is that better approach. What we do is we go back to our data model. Okay, and into the data model, let me go to the data view here and go to the calendar table. Now, when I want to sort the month, these months here, these months are basically the text. And I can only sort them based on their serial number in the year. What do I mean by serial number? So July has serial number 7 in the calendar. August has 8, January has 1, and February has 2. So I can sort this field with reference to this field. And how to do this one? Select the field you want to sort. Go into Home tab. Under the Home tab, you'll find here in the Sort and Filter, it's called Sort by Column. I want to sort this column by reference to the value of this column. So click on to Sort by Column. And this is the column of what I want to sort, which is the month name. And I want to sort it with reference to the month number of the year. And click OK. Nothing will happen here. Data will remain as it is. But next time when we'll use this information, it will be automatically sorted. Similarly, as far as this weekdays are concerned, I can sort them with reference to the day number of the week. So select this column, sort the column by, and sort this column by the day number of the week and click OK. Next time, when I will use this information, it will be automatically sorted. Okay, right. Let's go back now here. If I just now throw this month name out, all right, and bring this month name back from the calendar table, all right, so you will see without any kind of sorting order to apply over here, it will automatically be sorted. Though it's still showing to me over here the sort because this is the same table. If I create a different table, you will see this will be automatically sorted. And I'm going to use this one quite frequently in this in the upcoming examples. Don't worry. Okay. Now, this information, to the extent I need to provide the information for the first question, I'm done with that one. Let's go ahead and find out the answer for the second question. My second question is, what was total sales margin for each month? Okay, I want to get the margin over here. Now, my margin is basically is sales minus cost. Into the sales table, if I just go into the sales table, I have here only two fields. One is the product cost, and I have over here is the sales. I don't have any other information as far as its margin is concerned. Okay. So now what you're going to do? Now we got two options here. Option number one, I should go back to my data model, or I should go back to my sheet for where I'm getting this information. I should add another column there, and I should apply a formula saying sales minus cost, that's the margin, and then that margin I should bring into this field, into this report over here. That's one thing. Second, I should use the normal functionality of the pivot table, and I should add over here a calculated field. But that calculated field will be only and only available within this this pivot table. As for the rest of the pivot tables are concerned, whenever I need the margin information, I have to recalculate. I have to recreate the field. But there is a third option, which is a better option, and that is use the DAX measure. Now, what is a DAX measure? If you look into the Power Pivot menu, so here, the second option, or rather into the calculation, there is an option available here, or a menu item here. It's called the measures. Now, what is measure? Measures are basically are the calculated formulas, the formulas that you will calculate, you will create. And we create these measures with the help of data analysis expression, with the help of DAX. This sales, what just now what I have created, I can create the sum of the sale with the help of a measure as well. And measure, what will happen whenever I create a measure, it will add over here into the table. So that means it is a portable information. As and when I need the same information in any analysis or in any other report or any other place, I can just drag and drop that measure, and that will give me my result. Now, this scenario which I just now explained, maybe probably you can say it's not making sense to you. So what I do is, let me do one thing. I'm going to create another pivot table here. So what I do is, very quickly, I'll do this. So another pivot table. And in this pivot table, once again, what I need is, let's say, I need the year here, and I need the total sales over here, let's say, right? So what I do here is, I drag and drop the same sales over here, right? So now you are able to drag and drop this field here. Why? Because this field is available here into the table. But if you have a calculated field in the pivot table here, that field will not be available here in the field list of the specific table. So this means every time you need that information here, let's say the total sales here, you need to create in its current context. To avoid all this stuff, what I strongly recommend is that what you do is you do a slightly different approach. Let me add a new sheet. And in this one now, I'm going to insert a new pivot table. And what I do here is, I'm going to get the same calendar month. Let's say here is the calendar month. And as far as my total sales is concerned, instead that I should drag and drop this field, which is the sales amount over here, I'm going to create a measure. I'm going to create a formula for myself. So for that formula, go to the Power Pivot, into the measure, and create a new measure. A new screen will come, right? Something like this one. And I'm going to create this measure and leaving it into the table sales. Let me call it as my total sales, and it will be portable for me. Whenever I need the total sales value in a different context, I can just drag and drop and it will help me. And the formula I'm going to use is called sum formula. Sum of what? Sum of, go to the sales table, and into the sales table, we have a field called sales amount, right? So as soon as you type the sales amount, so sales amount will be available here in IntelliSense. So double click that, close the parentheses. I can format this as a number. I don't want decimal placer, but I want 1000 separator. I can check if my DAX formula is correct or not. Yes, DAX is okay, and click OK now. So what it's going to do, it's going to do slightly different thing. Now have a look into here. Now the way DAX brought to you the numbers are slightly different, though these are the same numbers. Okay, these are the same number, but here the formatting you have to do manually. But here the formatting was done by the DAX automatically. And now whenever I use this total sales measure, where is the total sales measure? If I go to the sales table now, you will see here an additional field, but basically it is not a field. These things are definitely the field, but if I go to my data model, you won't be able to see this field. Rather, this one is my own created formula. This is called DAX. Okay, and the beauty of this one is, you will see in the upcoming question, that it will help me to calculate further formulas. Okay, let me add a new measure over here as well. And that new measure I want to add, let's say, again into the sales, and I'm going to call it as my total cost. And for the total cost, I'm going to use the sum formula. For sum, sum of what? I want to go to the sales table, and in the sales table, I have a field called, where is that field? Sales unit price. Here is the unit price. Is it the unit price? Product cost, sorry. So it's the product cost, this one. Double click, close the parentheses, format this as a number, no decimal places, and click OK. So here is my total sales, and here is my total cost. Let me show you in, okay, just allow me one more thing to calculate here. And that is, I want to answer this question now, total margin. So how are you going to calculate margin here now? I already have two measures here. One is the sales and one is the cost. So with the help of these two measures, I can calculate another measure now. So I just go ahead and calculate another measure, and let me call it as my total margin. And this margin I can calculate with the help of these existing measure. And how that would be, I will say, just go ahead and bring that measure, which was the first one I calculated, total cost. As soon as you type total, so it will bring the measure that you just now calculated. Here is the total cost. It's the same total cost what we have over here. Okay, in the field list, anything which is prefixed with fx means this is the formula, this is the measure you calculated from yourself. All right. Okay, so I said, yes, that's the total cost I need. And out of this total cost, there was another measure just now I calculated called the total cost, and that is over here. So from total sales, I want you to deduct total cost and format this one as decimal number and click OK. So what happened here is, it has calculated the margin for me. All right, and these things are available here now into the field list as well. For this purpose now, you don't need to add data, and I didn't add any data. I can go back now to my data model. This is my data model now. And if I show you into the sales table, here is the sales table, you'll be surprised to see there is no new field added here. It's the same field that we have right from the beginning. But yes, you can see now quite a few other things that have been added underneath over here, that in this one, in this table, I have added 3 additional measure. One is total sales, other is total cost, and third is total margin. So the value of those fields are over here. Okay, all right. Maybe still you didn't find it much useful. Let's go ahead and see the other questions now, and that will help you to understand more about it. Okay, I want to calculate now margin ratio. What should I do? Normal Excel, one more column, or normal pivot table, one more calculated column. But as far as this pivot table is sorry, DAX is concerned, or Power Pivot is concerned, no new column. Rather, just going back again to Power Pivot, a new measure I'm going to calculate again into the sales table. I will leave it and I call it as, let's say, margin ratio. So margin ratio would be calculated how? Sorry. So margin ratio will be total margin divided by sales. So I just call the same measure that just now I calculated, total margin. So here is my total margin. And this has to be divided by what? By total sales. So just go ahead and total sales. So that's the portability of the information. And I'm going to format as a number, no decimal places, but I want to format as the percentage. So click percentage and click OK. And that's it. We are done. Here is your percentage. Well, let's say you said, no, it's all 41, 41, 41. So better you have to have 2 decimal places. Nothing to worry about. We can just go ahead and edit our measure. To edit our measure, so this measure is here into the sales table. Here it is. Right click on it and click edit measure. And into the edit measure now here, I can just increase the decimal places to 2 and click OK. And that's it. We are done. So here is our margin ratio. Okay. Let's go ahead and a little bit now, complicated situation, a little bit. Now, this sales, what you showed to me here now, 2.375 million for the month of January. I want to know how many total transactions made up this sales. How many total transactions made up this sales? So that's my question here now. I want to know total, how many transactions made up sales of each month. Not sure in normal Excel what formula you will choose. But here, it's a matter of just a simple thing. Going back again to Power Pivot, calling the DAX measure, and I'm leaving this measure again into the sales table, and I call it, let's say, total transaction. Right? So the formula I'm going to use over here, it's called count rows. That is the count rows. Every single transaction in your sales table is basically counted towards to get the total of these sales, right? So this total sales basically was how that the sales value in every single row into your sales table, it was summed up, and then it was classified as it is sales of January or February or March, and then the results were over here. So what I need to do is I just need to count the rows. When I use the count rows DAX function, it asks me, just tell me I need to count the rows from what table, one argument. So I just say, just go ahead and count it from the sales table. So here is the sales table, close the parentheses, and I can format this as a decimal number with 1000 separator and click OK. All right, here are my analysis. You can create your analysis reports in seconds. Okay. Next question. The next question is, how many days made up total sales of each month? The sales 2.375 million. How many days were into this one? All right. Okay. Very simple. Once again, new measure. So now I'm showing you how you can practice the DAX. This is all now is the DAX, data analysis expressions. So into the sales, I'm going to call it as sales, let's say number of days. And I'm going to use formula that's called distinct count. Distinct count. So here is the formula called distinct count. And it asks me only just one information, that what is the name of the column that you want me to use to count its values, or rather to count its unique values. Now here is a little bit, I will take a few seconds to think about something. Now, as far as the column name is concerned, and I need to count the days. If I use the date column from calendar, so very much possible that on any specific date, we had no business in the company. So this means there was no sales transaction. Day will be counted, but there will be no transaction of the sales. So that's incorrect. But if I use now into the sales table, I have an order date over here, right? So if there was a business and if there was an order, there was a record. But here the only thing is that on any single date, you can have one or more than one order. but nothing to worry about. Why? Because I'm going to count only the distinct count. Distinct mean if one date is repeating itself, it will be counted as once. So just go ahead and say the column you need is called the order date, and it's available in the sales table. So order date and close the parentheses, and that's it. Let's make it as a decimal number and click OK. All right. It says for the month of January, 2.375 million sales. It was made up of 5,017 transactions over 93 days. Oh, hold on. Can January be 93 days? Can February be 85 days? Or can July be 124 days? No, something going wrong here. And what's wrong? Did I mention here this January of what year? No, I did not. My data is of, sorry, my data is of 4 years, 2001, 2, 3, and 4. So this January, 5,017 transaction in the month of January is of 4 Januaries. January of 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004. But I want to see now here exactly the exact number of days of the month for any specific year. So that's very simple. What you can do is now here, we can make your report more nice looking. Just go to the calendar table, and as far as this calendar year is concerned, I can just right click onto this calendar year, and I can put this one into as a slicer. So when I click onto the slicer, so this slicer will be created here. What I can do is into this slicer, when it is selected, you'll find a little bit more options about the slicer. Click to the slicer. You can apply a style. Let's say this is a style, and I can just increase its number of columns. Let's make it 4 columns. Let me increase the width. So this is how it would look like, and I can reduce its height, and I can put it right here onto the top of the report. So now you can see all 4 years are selected over here, and in all 4 years, it makes up total 93 days. But if I want to see January 2002 only, so as soon as I select 2002, my whole report will be automatically updated. Have a look on my screen. I just say 2002 only. See all the number within a fraction of second automatically updated. I want to see 2001. Well, in 2001, I just had the data from July all the way to December. I want to see result of 2004. In 2004, I have data from from January all the way to July. This is the beauty of Power Pivot. This is the beauty of DAX. If you are using still the normal pivot table or the normal way of adding data or creating calculated fields in the normal pivot table, this kind of things would not be possible. Right? Okay. Let's go ahead and continue with one of the year over here now. And if I just say, no, I don't want any specific year, just show me the data in totality, you can just simply go ahead and clear the filters. When you clear the filter, again, 93 days will be back. Okay, let's have 2003 over here. And let's see now a couple of more questions. Now, the next question here is, what was average sales per transaction for each month? This is my total sales for the month of January 2003, and this many number of transactions. I want to see what was average sales per transaction. All right, I have the transactions here. I have the total sales over here, and both things I have calculated with the help of measure. So to calculate average, I don't need to go anywhere. I just need to go ahead and add a new measure now. And this new measure, let's say I call it average sales per transaction. Simply, I can call total sales, which is this one. So here is my total sale. And all I need to do is I need to divide this by what? By the total transactions. So go ahead and say total transactions. So here are the total transactions. And format this one as a decimal number and click OK. So average sales per transaction is calculated here. Being an accountant, being an analyst, or whatever your job is, if you cannot answer a question instantly, well, to be very honest, to my all students or to my all clients, I always say, you got 3 to 5 seconds to answer a question. And within this 3 to 5 seconds, either you win the client or you lose the client. 3 to 5 seconds. That's the maximum time. But if you have to work with the normal Excel functionality, well, 3 to 5 seconds is not enough. Yes, working with Power Pivot and DAX, that's possible. Okay, another question here is, I want to see now average sales for each month. So these are my total sales, sorry, not average sales each month, average sales per day for each month. So these are total days, and this is my sales over here. So just very quickly, I can go ahead and say that's my average sales per day. And the formula for this one is very simple. I will call this total sales. So here is the total sales. Here it is. And I need to divide it by my total number of days over here. That's called the number of days. So here is number of days. So here it is, number of days. And I can just format this one. And here we go. There it is, average sales. Once again, the beauty what? Change to 2002, change to 2001, everything just get updated automatic. Nothing to worry about. Okay. Right. Now, sir, a little bit difficult situation. Up to now, I was just working with a single table, which was the sales table. Let's have a look into this question now. I want you to calculate for me what was total profit for product key 600 for each month. The sales total you showed to me here, this is my total sales. This includes all the products. I want you to now here in the same table or in the same report, show me, is it talking about the profit or sales? It's talking about the profit. So this margin, which I have over here, this one is for all the products. And I want you to show me here, what was your total margin that you earned from product key 600? Okay. Let me go back to my my data model here. So that's my data model. And into the data model, if I just go to the products table here, here is the products table. And in the products table now, we got these are the product key here. These are the product keys. So in one of the product key here is called the product key 600, which is probably somewhere down here. This is the product key 600. And I want you to tell me what is my total profit earned from this product key 600. Normal Excel, again, challenging situation. But here, let me introduce you to a new friend, a new formula. And the name of that formula is called calculate. Okay, let me show you how this works. Going to, again, to the new measure. I'm leaving it into the sales table. And I call it as, let's say, margin. Let's say product 600. Name of the formula is called calculate. Here is the calculate formula. And it asks me, first of all, give me an expression. Expression means what? What you want me to calculate. Expression here means what you want me to calculate. I want you to calculate total margin. So go ahead and write total margin. So that total margin you have already calculated. So it's going to get the total margin, first of all, as an aggregate value. So this total margin, what it will calculate, this will be margin of all the products. But from out of this total margin, I need to extract margin of one specific product, and that's called product key 600. Where is the product key? The product key, in fact, is in the products table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a filter over here. So what kind of filter is here? I would just say, go to the products table. Okay. And into the products table, we have, so as soon as you start typing products, so it's all the fields of the products table would be available here in IntelliSense. So in the products key table, we have, products table, we have a field called the product key. Double click. This field should be equal to 600. Close the parenthesis, and we are done. Number, 1000 separator, no decimal places, and click OK. And here is your required number. So simple, instant. Okay, let's have a different situation now. This time I want you to calculate total sales of the product key 214 and 217. So the earlier example, this example was for a single product. So what if you want to calculate for multiple products? Nothing to worry about. Just go ahead, add a new measure, and let me call it as sales of P 214 and P, let's say 217. All right. Okay, sorry for the typo error. That's okay. So once again, calculate function. Calculate what? We calculate this time total sales. So here is my total sales. Out of this, I'm going to filter the product, the sales of P214. So just go to the products table. And from there, I want you to take a field called the product key. This should be equal to 214 and close the parenthesis. So this will bring the data or the sales of one specific product, that is 214. And what I can do is then I can just simply go ahead and copy this formula at the end, plus Control V to paste this one and just change the reference of the product. So that is going to be 214 and this is going to be 217, and format the number, all right, 1000 separator, and click OK. And here is our report. So far, we did not add any information, any data, even a single number or digit or alphabet into the original data. What we have, we are using the same thing. Everything what we are doing here is based on our own created formulas, and our own created formulas called the DAX measures. These are available here. Okay, right. You must be thinking, oh, hold on, because you are into the same sheet, right? And that's why these things are usable. Just give me a few more minutes and I'm going to add different more, or rather not one sheet, multiple sheet, and I will show you that these things will be portable there. Okay. Another requirement now, this is another thing now here is, this time I want you to calculate total cost of product 475, but the color of the product should be black. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead here now into the same report. I'm going to add another measure and let me call it as cost of product 475 of black color. All right, go ahead again, calculate. So here is the calculate function. What do you want me to calculate? I want you to calculate this time total cost. So go ahead and total cost. So here is the total cost. And out of this now, I want you to go to the products table. All right, so into the products table, we have a product key field here. This should be equal to 475. But 475, that comes in various colors, right? So what it will do now, first of all, it will calculate total cost. Then out of that, it will filter the cost of 475. Now, out of this, I need to filter further. So I just say again, go ahead again into the products table. And into the products table, we have a field called the color. This should be equal to the name of the color. And double quotes close. Now take a note over here. When I typed 475, I did not add quotation marks. But when I type the text, the black, red, white, whatever over here, I added the quotation marks. If you are using the numbers, it should be without quotation marks. But if it is a text, it should be enclosed within 2 quotation marks. And close the parenthesis and the number, 1000 separator. I can check my formula. It's okay. Yes, it's okay. And click. All right. Okay, go ahead. So there it is, our desired results. Right. One single report, it will serve the purpose for multiple people, multiple departments. And that's how, in fact, when you, if you're accountant, you have your own, let's say, your practice, and you want to win more clients. What you can do, in fact, is you can use this tool and you can check it out that currently what's going on with the client. Let's say, I'll give you my example. I have one of my clients, right? When I visited their office, I find out that 3 people, they are working on to similar kind of data analysis. When I study the whole process, I find out what I found there is that they are using the normal functionality of Excel. When they need to create this report, which I'm sharing, in fact, with you now, right now here, 2 people, they are working on to this report, and not just single report. They have one report which is giving only this information, another report giving this information only. Why? Because they have to keep on taking the information from sheet to sheet, from file to file, and from machine to machine. I mean, I could not understand what's going on there then. When I asked them, okay, how much is your total cost for the whole process? Well, that was a couple of 100,000. But the same thing, we win the contract for quarter of the total cost what they were paying. And now it is the 7th year, our client is extremely happy. So my suggestion to all of those who have their private practice, this should win the client by studying the things from this perspective. Why your client, he or she, is paying so much cost, and by using your skills, or by using these tools, how you can ensure the cost is saved for your client. At the same time, you are in position that you can win the contract. All right. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and see now this report. I'm going to create this time a new report, a new sheet. And in that new sheet now, let me answer this question. Create a report that shows total sales per year with breakdown by gender. Okay. If you go back again to our data model, into the sales table, you'll not find any information as far as gender is concerned. So the gender information you'll find into the customers table here. So since we have already created now here the relationship, right? So system or Excel will automatically keep on filtering information on its own. We don't need to worry about now. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to add a new sheet here, and into this new sheet, let me insert a new pivot table, and using the same workbook data model. And I'm going to bring now here, first of all, the month name. So here is the month name. And okay, the next is, sorry, what was question? Total sales per year, breakdown by gender. Okay, so this is total sales. And what I can do is I can just put the year right here at the top, let's say. So here is 2001, January, February, March, July, August, September, and all others. And I can bring now total sales. So let me go ahead and look into the sales table. When you click on the sales table, so all those measures that you calculated previous, right, in the last report are available here. And now I don't need to worry about, I just need to drag and drop the field. So total sales, here it is. You want me to bring the total cost, here it is. You want me to bring the margin, here it is. Anything what you have already calculated, it will keep on filtering on its own. Okay. Right. So here requirement is only total sales. So I just drag and drop the cost and the margin out, and it should be broken down by gender. So gender where would be available? It should be available into the customers table. So here is the customer table, and where is the gender? So here is the gender, and I can just drop gender, let's say, into the columns over here. So here is my report. Okay. I didn't say to my Excel that, okay, you need to take the total sales and use the sum if function and bring the sales of the male or the female. No, since relationships are established at the back end in the Power Pivot, we just don't need to worry about. All right. Let's go ahead and see what's next requirement here now. And say modify the above report include sales made to those clients or to those customers whose occupation was management. Now we got a little complex problem here now. This is now what we have here is sales made to male and female. And now out of the sales, we need to extract the sale that is made to those male or female who are working in the management career or working in the management position. Okay, now for this, first of all, I need to go back and look into the data model. I just go to the customers table, and where I can find that those who were working as manager, what specific term was used for them. So here into the data model, if I just scroll to the right here, so you'll find one field here. It's called English occupation. In this English occupation now, if I click the drop down, so those who are working as manager, for them, the term was used as management. So with the help of our new best friend, calculate, I can extract the sales or the profit or whatever by using this term. Okay. So let's go back to our report now here. And what I do is I'm going to add, once again, into the Power Pivot, a new measure. And I call it as, let's say, sales. And let's say that is to management. And here, what I do is calculate what? Calculate total sales. Here is the total sales. And out of this now, I want you to go to the customers table, and into the customers table, we have one field here called English occupation. This one. This should be equal to management. All right, double quotes close, parenthesis close. Let's format this as a number, 1000 separator, checking decks. Everything looks good, and click OK. And that's it. What it did, it has added now. This is the total sales made from the female. But this out of this sales now, this is the sales made from those female who are working as manager. This is the sales made from those male, rather, this is the sales of made from the male, and this is the sales made from those who are working as manager, right? So just by mean of one single measure, the whole report is updated automatic. All right, let's go have another situation. Okay, so I want you to create a report to show total profit earned over the years for each product subcategory. Let me add a new sheet. Yeah, let's add a new sheet here. And what I do is now I insert a new pivot table. And what I do is here, let's go ahead and calculate our, what it says here is total profit over the year from product subcategory. So I take from the calendar, I take the calendar year, and I go to the products table. And the products table, there is a field here. It's called product subcategory. So here is product subcategory. So that goes into the rows. So here the year, here the product subcategories. And what was that? It was total profit. So what I do is now going to the sales table, and profit we have already calculated under the margin. So just drag and drop it into the values. So here is our margin here. Okay, but out of this margin, it says that modify and tell me now what was that margin that was earned from university graduates. Okay, so those customers who are university graduates, what was the profit earned from them? Nothing to worry about. Go to Power Pivot, new measure. Once again, I'm calling it as, let's say, margin or profit, and those who are university grads. So our best friend called calculate. Calculate what? Calculate the name of the measure we already have is total margin. So here is total margin. And out of this margin, I need to filter the margin of those who are working, who were university graduates. But I forgot to know what term was used for the university graduates. I'm sorry, I just need to go back to my data model. Here it is. And here is the customer. And for the customers now, we have a field here called English education. Here it is. And for the university graduates, it called graduate degree. That's the term used over here. Graduate degree. Okay, that's fine. So very quickly now, new measure. And this is now profit, let's say from university grads, and calculate what? I need to calculate total margin. Here is the total margin, comma, and go to the customers table. In the customers table, we have field called English education. This should be equal to graduate degree, if I spell correctly. All right. Okay. And this one, 1000 separator, and click OK. All right. So I did not get anything. So look like that I did not spell properly. So let me go ahead and right click onto the measure, edit the measure. Oh, sorry.
Degree.
Sorry.
DE.
All right. Thank you, sir. So that's what is required to be fixed. So click OK now. So here is my data, which gives me now the profit earned from the university graduates. Okay. I want you to modify this report one more time and show me now the profit earned from the university graduates, those who were married. Okay. Let's go back to the data model. Into the data model now here. So these are the students, here it was the English education, university graduates. And we need to know now the margin that is earned from those who were who were married or unmarried. So we have one field over here. Okay, just a second. We have one field here, and that is called, here is the marital status. So here is the marital status. So for the married, it's M, and for the single, it's S. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back to here and add a new measure. And this new measure, let's say, profit from university graduates and those who are married. Okay, so calculate, go ahead, what total profit. So here is the total margin, where the customers going to this table and check their education should be equal to graduate degree. So this will be the university graduate. But out of that, we want to see, once again, go to the customers table and check it out that what is their marital status. So for the marital status, we have a field here, and that field is called the marital status. Here it is. That should be equal to M. So close the parentheses, and let's format this as a number, decimal, thousand separator, and click OK. So here now, I think once again, probably, sorry, I look like again, I made a mistake somewhere here. So GR, okay, this time it was graduate problem. All right, so graduate degree, okay, that's rest everything is just fine. Nope. Okay. Let me repeat my formula. So with the English, oh, sorry, not English occupation. It has to be English education. So English education, not occupation. That has to be equal to graduate degree. And into the same table, customers, and into the customers now, the field marital status has to be equal to M. And close the parentheses and hit enter now. So here are the numbers. Okay. So very quickly, we prepared the report. Right. So I'm sure now, up to now, you must have realized that what's the utility of this tool. Again, you don't need to subscribe anything. You don't need to buy anything. It's available within the same Excel. Okay. This time I have a little bit different situation. Up to now, what you saw, I used those tables which have some way, some connection with the other tables. And next 5 minutes or about 10 minutes max, I'm going to use two different, sorry, two different kind of tables which has no connection, which has no relationship. In fact, you cannot create relationship because the way information is given over there, there is no way that you can create relationship. So in that situation, what you will do? I want you to create a sales report and show me the dollar value by product name. This is simple. Let me add a new sheet here. And I'm just going to insert a new pivot table very quickly. I need to see my total sales. So from the sales table, I just drag and drop my total sales measure. And I need to go to the products table and into the products table by product category, which goes into the rows. So here it is. Or if you don't want, is it product category or product subcategory? So product name, sorry, not product category. So product category out, and the product name probably is somewhere product name. So product name, there it is, the English product name. So here it is. Now this one is the dollar value. So as far as this requirement is concerned, that's fine. Now, as far as this requirement is concerned, it says annual sales in euros by product name. Okay, so since it says the annual sales, I did not add the year here. So let me do one thing very quickly. I could just take the year from here and I can put that one into the slicer. So add the slicer. So this slicer, I can just simply go ahead and leave it here. Let me reduce the size of this one and let's make it 4 columns. and a little bit width. Yep, that's fine now. Let's leave it here somewhere into the corner. So now, if I select 2002, so this is the date of 2002, um, total sales by the product name. But this requirement says I need to convert this value, this sales value, into euros. Okay. But as far as my data is concerned, if I go to my data model now, into the sales table, I have my total sales, and it's only into the into the dollars only. But I do have a table here which is called the exchange rate. In the exchange rate, I have single column value. One column contains all values that I can use. Not only this, I just create a little bit more complexity into this report, and that is a note down over here. And that's what I'm saying is that the report should be fully dynamic. Fully dynamic mean that if somebody changed the rate, if I say, okay, create this report where exchange rate is 1.5, fine. And if I say, no, it has to be, let's say 1.10 or 1.20, whatever. So my report, basically, it should be automatically updated here. Okay, now the challenge for me here is that when I was saying that in the diagram view, I can create relationship between calendar and sales on the date table, on the date field here, or on the customer key here, or on the product key over here. So what field from this table I can use to create relationship between exchange rate and the sales table? If I just keep scrolling into the products, into the sales table, none of the fields that is there that I can, rather, there's no field that I can use to create relationship between this field to any field over here. So any table which has nothing common with other table is called a disconnected table, a standalone table. Now here probably you might be thinking, oh, okay, so we got a situation where probably this tool is it's not going to work. No, it's not that. We accountant and analyst in our field, we have solution of almost everything, if not everything, but almost everything. Let me show you a workaround solution for this. Okay. Now here in this step over here, first of all, I need to know what rate is going to be used. But since my question says that rate will be variable, it will keep on changing. So the first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the rates right up over here. So sorry. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to show you that while developing your report, creating your analysis, in fact, not only you're creating analysis report, you're creating a complete sort of a dashboard, right? So what I can do is I can just take from the exchange rate, this field, and I can put this one also in a slicer here, right? So slicer selected, let's increase the width of this one this much, and I just put it into, let's say 3 rows. That's enough. Yeah. Okay. And let me put it somewhere here at the top of the report, and I apply this one style for it. Okay. Now, as I selected this field and I put it to the slicer, I start getting the message over here saying that there is no relationship detected between this field and this table. Now, this message will keep coming. You may find it a bit irritating, but just ignore this message. Don't care about it. Now, what I need to do is I need to capture the rate which somebody is going to select from here. Since there is no relationship between this and this, even I select some rate, it's not going to have impact on my report. Unlike this slicer, where I select any value from here, and this get changed. Why? Because this one is coming from calendar table, which has a relationship with the sales table. So they can talk to each other. But since this one and this one don't have any relationship, they're not going to talk. Now, how to capture the rate when somebody is going to select from here? Okay, I'm going to use some workaround solution. Now, at any given situation, somebody will select one of the rates from here. If the rate selected is 1.5, so 1.5 as a number, it's the maximum number. This 1.5 itself is the minimum number, and this 1.5 itself is the average number, and and the sum of 1.5 is itself is 1.5. This may be something nonsense, but it does make sense a little bit. One single number, if I want to calculate the maximum number of that number itself is maximum, because I have one number. If I want to calculate the minimum of that number, that itself is the minimum number. The sum of 1.5 will be 1.5, right? So what I can do here is I can create a new measure, and I'm going to capture this one by using a different kind of formula. So what I do is going to Power Pivot, adding a new measure, and this time I'm not going to leave it into the sales table. I'm going to leave it into the exchange rate table. And in the exchange rate table, let me call it as selected rate. And I'm going to use the formula called max. Max will say, okay, give me the name of the column from what you want me to calculate the max, right? So I just say, go to the exchange rate table, and the exchange rate table, there is a field called USD per euro. So just give me the maximum number out of that and close the parenthesis. And let me form it with 2 decimal places and with 1,000 separated, though it doesn't make any sense that over here 1,000 separated should be used, but that's okay. Just go ahead and click OK now. So what it's going to do, it's going to add a field into my pivot table over here, and the number that I selected here, any number now I select, it will be available here now. Now, once this number is captured, right, now things are easy for me. But you might be thinking, oh, hold on. When I said the maximum number from a field, which is called USD per euro, right? So why it's selecting this number? Well, sorry, because I have applied a filter here. I'm saying, what is the maximum of 1.5? It said it's 1.5. But if I just clear the filter, so what is the maximum number here? The maximum number here is 2. If I clear this one, so it's going to select number 2. So that makes sense now, right? The maximum of all this data range or of all these values is 2. That's fine. But what is the maximum of this 1.5? 1.45 is 1.45. Okay, that makes things easy for me now. Now what I can do, I can divide this one by this number. So that will give me my euro value. So, okay, go ahead, add a new measure. And this measure I'm going to leave into the sales table. And I call it as, let's say, rather sales in euro. And I call it, let's say, go ahead, calculate my total sales, rather get the total sale and divide this sales by this specific rate, which is called selected rate. So here is the selected rate. All right. And let's 1,000 separator, decimal number. Yep. And click OK. All right. So here there was no sales, nothing here. And as far as this rate is concerned, in fact, I don't need to provide this rate, or I don't need to show this rate over here, as long as the rate is available in the slicer here. So I can simply just go here into the values, and this selected rate, I can just drop it out. All right. So here is my sales by euro, by dollars, and here is my sales by euros. If I change now, let's say if I select 1, so this means my total sales and euro sales should be same. So select 1, here is 18,921, here is 921. And if it is number 2, it's going to be half of what we have over here. So here is 18 and here is 9. So that's how you can use a disconnected table as well. But just don't care about this message. We understand why this message is coming. Okay, so this is now a complete dynamic report. Right. Something similar is requested here also, that I want to see now my total sales in euros for all the exchange rates. Now here I got quite a few exchange rates here, right? So I've been asked, okay, if you can possibly create a report which should show me my total sales for all these exchange rate. That's pretty simple report now here. I can just create this report very quickly in the same sheet here. Just go ahead, add a new report here and new pivot table. And all I can do now here is I can just go first of all to the exchange rates, and I can take the exchange rates and drop them into the rows. So here are my exchange rate. And for my total sales is concerned, so here is my total sales in euros, which is over here, the last one, and I can drop it into the values over here. So here is my total sales. All right. Our total sales, if you remember, it was 39 point something. So it is 39 point something. And it will keep on decreasing. At the rate keep on increasing, the sales will definitely keep on decreasing over here. And I've been asked, okay, is it possible I can apply some kind of um, conditional formatting? No problem. Select the data, go to home here and apply the condition formatting. And I'm going to apply some data bars. Let's say this is the one. So here my sales is in the euros. So gradually sales is decreasing. So gradually your conditional formatting is also decreasing over. Okay. One more question before I end up today's session. And this question is going to be a little bit more typical. So you might have noticed now, as I progress through the question, every next question, in fact, has a little bit more complexity compared to the previous questions. This time I want you to create a dynamic data model that should show me total sales by product category for a threshold list price selected by the user. Now, first of all, we need time to understand this question. Okay, we need to create a dynamic data model. This means as and when somebody selects some value, my report should be automatically filtered. So that's the meaning of dynamic over here. We want to see total sales by the product category. Okay, let's go ahead and add a new sheet. And what I do is here, insert a pivot table. And here by product category. So let's go to the products table. And from the products table, I can just take the product category over here. And here is my total sales. Here is my total sales. So here is the total sales by product category. But this have to be dynamic report. So let's go ahead, first of all, take the year from here. Where it is. So here is the year. I can just put this one into slicer. Well, this time I'm not going to do any kind of Mac formatting. So I just leave this one, let's say, over here in the corner. So this is my 2002 sales. And the next requirement in the question was that it should show the sales for a threshold list price selected by the user. Now, what is threshold list price here? If you go to our data model here, we have a table here called the minimum sales price. You know, some of the companies which are selling tens and thousands of products, if, let's say, if I just go to Home Depot or Walmart or any other company who are dealing with hundreds and thousands of products, and some of the products probably would be, their cost might be as low as 50 cents, but they might be selling some of the products which has as high as $20,000, $60,000, $50,000 per unit. So there you might notice that product manager or marketing manager or somebody who's preparing analysis as far as their sales margin or sales is concerned, they might think, okay, I'm not interested into those products whose sales value is considerably low, or the price is considerably low. I understand that any product which is sold for, let's say, $1 or $2, unless and until you sell a significant number of units, it will not have material impact on to my total revenue. A product sold, let's say, for $1, even you sold, let's say, 50,000 units. So the matter is of only $50,000. Well, the company total sales is $1 billion. So what is how significant $50,000 will be into $1 billion sales? It's not much, right? So such manager, most of the time, what they do is they give to their this requirement to the people who are working with them, to the analyst or the accountant, or wherever they have outsourced their services. They would say, okay, I'm not interested into what you are showing me all this. For example, if you look into this report, which just now I created. Now, as far as accessories are concerned, okay, that's something which will get my attention. But as far as clothing products are concerned, it's a $339,000 total out of $32 million. So he might say, I'm not interested much into as far as these products are concerned. You just talk to me, explain to me what's going on as far as these two products are concerned. So sometimes what happens is they will give you, let's say, a threshold price. They'll say, okay, I'm interested in to see my total sales or let's say my revenue or my profit for those products where the sales price is equal to or above X value. So if that is the situation, so probably using the normal Excel, you need to spend considerable time to create some analysis. But here, we can just make things quite easy. If you see, my question now here is, my question is saying, not only only the threshold price, I have included something else as well. I said those products for what the threshold price or threshold list price selected by the user, create dynamic data model that should show the total sales by product category for a threshold list price selected by the user. Okay, now where is my threshold list price? I have another table which I explained earlier. That's called the minimum price list. So this is basically having certain price levels. What I can do is I can put this one into the slicer over here. So let's go ahead and increase a little bit width of this one. And let me add width. Okay, that's fine. And let's reduce the size from here. Okay. Right. Now, let's say I'm interested only into those products where the sales price is above, rather not sales price, the list price is equal to or more than $1,000. So first of all, I need to know where is list price. Going back to the data model, if you look into the products table, so in the products table, we have over here a field called the list price. Here it is, the list price. All right. So we need to see now those products where the list price is more than $1,000, what was total sales generated from such products. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's easy. I can use calculate formula and that will give me my results. Let me show you if it will give you results or we need to think slightly different. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a new measure, power pivot. And the new measure here is, let me put it into the sales table and I call it as, let's say, sales of threshold price, whatever. Sorry for spellings if it is wrong, right? Which is definitely wrong. Okay, so I can use calculate formula here. So just go ahead and calculate. Calculate what? We want to calculate total sales. So here is my total sales. And this is what you will say now. I want to filter out of this, right? Here, what you will going to say, okay, I'm going to filter out of the sales price. So probably you will say, okay, go to the products table. And in the products table, we have a field called product list price, this one. This should be greater than or equal to what? 1,000. And what if he changed to 2,000? Then you'll come back over here again and you'll change this? No. So this is not going to work. So first of all, what I need to do, once again, like the last example, I need to capture what price was selected from here. Same thing. Once again, I add a new measure and I say, I'm going to put this one into the minimum price list and I call it as, let's say, selected price. And I'm going to use the same max formula. And I said, calculate the max value and go to minimum price list. And from there, whatever the price was selected, there is one field only, minimum price list. That's what you need to capture. And no just 1,000 separator, no decimal place. Okay now. So what it will do now, any price you select from here would be available. And there is a field called the list price, this list price. All right. So into this list price should be greater than or equal to what? That should be equal to this one here is the selected price. All right, close the parenthesis. Now here we have some problem. This formula is not going to work. Let me show you why it's not going to work. And one of the problem which the new user in Power Pivot and DAX they face is that in most of the situations they just can't understand the error message. Let me show you what error message this will give you. So just click check the DAG. So this is an error message over here. If you read this error message, I can guarantee quite a few of us will not be able to understand what exactly it says here. Okay. So it says calculation error in the measure, sales, blah, blah, whatever a function calculator has been used in the true false expression that is used as a table filter expression. This is not allowed. What is not allowed here? Now the problem here, sir, the problem what? Problem is that this sales selected price, this one is used as a comparison over here. Okay, this one is used as a comparison here. Now here what we need to do is, first of all, if we think logically, first of all, system what it has to do, it has to take this price, go to the products table and create an electronic table of all those products where the list price is greater than or equal to this price. Then take that electronic table and come to the sales table and match their product IDs to sum up the total sales and then group that total sales into the product categories. So these are three different processes that one single small measure have to do. Rest everything is fine, but as far as this comparison is concerned, this will be having a problem. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to create an electronic table of all those products where this expression becomes true. This is what it says, that you have used it in true and false. Right? So what we need to do is now we need to use a different formula within the calculate formula. So I'm going to say that I want you to filter the products. So click filter. It will ask me, okay, filter from what table? Go to products table. All right. So this is the products table filter. Out of this now, you need to apply some filter and create an electronic table. So it says now, give me the filter expression. Give me the criteria that you want me to apply to filter the thing. So I would say, go to the products table, and within that, there is a field called the list price. So where is the list price? This one should be greater than or equal to the selected price. So wherever this criteria comes true, just go ahead and create a table of that one. And then out of that, the products that you selected into this pivot, into this electronic table, I want you to get the sales of those products from this total sales, right? And then close the parenthesis again. I have used two parentheses over here to close, one parenthesis to close the filter, and other one to close the calculate. Now, if I check DAX, it says now everything's good, and click OK. Now, this was an extremely complex situation, in fact, which I showed to you, but with the help of DAX, just creating one measure, and we can get it solved. Now, at $1,000, where those products where the list price is more than $1,000, they're equal to $1,000, they are all into the bikes. If I select my threshold price is $20, so we have the products in all three categories, or 200 only in this one. So you can say now here 50, okay, 100. So this manager may be saying, oh, okay, even this 78,000 is not much of value. So probably next time present me report only of those products or those categories where threshold price is 200 or above 200. That's it for today. And this was just a little bit, I tried to introduce you to this DAX. There's so much more to learn in this one. And with the help of DAX, you can really make a difference. You can really make your life easy. You can really create analysis in the reports in just a matter of seconds only. So hope you got few things from today's presentation. You have any questions, though we are quite close to the time or already over, you can ask the question over here, or you can just drop the question at info@rpacanada.org, or you can send it to cpd@rpacanada.org. So we will try our best to answer everybody whose question we get from you.
Good job, Kiza.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks. So thank you very much. And all right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Grateful and thanks for joining me. So see you tomorrow again with a new tool and with more smart techniques to create analysis and reports. So thank you very much. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye.